What are, of the existing cloud vendors, from a data practitioner's perspective, of the existing cloud vendors, which of the vendors are do you like the most? Or are there strengths and weaknesses between GCP, AWS, and Azure? Things that you prefer?
There is such a tight competition between three of them that if any one of them is ahead on any one capability at any moment, the other one or the other two will catch up very quickly and then step ahead of one. So I feel that it's less of an issue of which cloud is good for each specific purpose. It's more overall what makes sense for you as a company. And I also generally suggest not to spend a lot of time figuring out which cloud, because whatever the situation is right now, whatever the capability is right now, the other cloud is going to catch up soon. So it's more about where you have relationship, where do you have service, what's coming out in terms of the cost perspective, what's your current stack. There are a lot of other criteria that will get you which cloud. But I think spending a lot of time figuring out which one's ahead, it's kind of by the time you finish figuring it out, the other two clouds will catch up.
So it's kind of great for us as customers, right? To be able to consume that. Like they're just going to compete and drive the costs down, and you get to. You're saying there's really going to be parity in terms of the features. Over time.
I think I'm sure, and I don't want to endorse any one vendor, so I'm not going to speak about what I'm seeing specifically for each of the vendors. But again, whatever it is at the moment I'm speaking right now, let's say, and I'm completely making it up, AWS has made great strides in analytical tool set. And right now that's really important, and that's my criteria. By the time I finish making my criteria and we sign the contract and we build the landing zone, Azure is going to be right there, if not slightly ahead. Right? And then Amazon is going to catch up and build something over there, and then Azure will develop. So it's really, I don't think it's capability question. I think it's more what makes sense from the relationship intangible, what kind of stack you have, what makes it easier, where do you have more. Are the vendors that you're using, any of your SaaS apps that you have footprint, are they running on any one of those public clouds?
Gotcha. So tell me how you think about multi-cloud. Is that something that's worth factoring in at the beginning of the journey to the public cloud, or is it do you have to kind of build it in from day one, or can you kind of think about having multiple cloud providers over time?
Well, the reality of it that we are on multi-cloud, not just Voya. Pretty much everybody who has any cloud footprint is on multi-cloud, because again, we have SaaS apps. Even the companies that are not at all thinking about public cloud, just don't want to go there, I'm pretty sure they probably have either Workday or Salesforce or something like that.
Right.
So they are on the cloud and they're on-prem. So that's already, or you have private cloud, which is, so reality that majority of the companies are already on multi-cloud. Now, if you want to be evenly on multi-cloud, meaning that you can switch from one cloud to another cloud seamlessly as a DR or in case something happens, that's an investment. And companies need to think about it. It's a significant investment to build out both infrastructures because they're not the same. If you want to take advantage of native capabilities on whatever cloud you're on, then it's not an easy transition to a different cloud. If you want to take advantage of some of platform as a service on top of the cloud, that's an investment. That's more expensive. You're paying to the cloud and you're paying for PaaS. So that will allow you presumably to switch. We haven't tried that. So I actually never tried that. So I don't know, but that's a selling point of PaaS, that you can switch containers from one place to another place. But again, that's more expensive. Or you have to develop in a way that's neutral of underlying cloud capabilities. Well, then you lose on underlying cloud capabilities. So as always, there isn't one way or there isn't a magic bullet there that you can just do and, I can run on any cloud. It's investment that companies need to make, and they need to understand whether the outcome or the value from that type of investment is worth the amount of money that's going to take on the ongoing basis.
Well, and what about some of the traditional sort of high-end on-prem workloads? Like I think of the kind of workloads that I used to run on Teradata, and such. Do you see those kinds of workloads moving over onto public cloud?
I think so.
Or like the Snowflake guys are really popular right now, and
Yes.
Databricks on the data science. Like, do you see sort of so these Teradata-like workloads actually moving, or Exadata-like workloads kind of moving over anytime soon?
I think so. I don't know in terms of how quickly that's going to happen, because again, we haven't run a lot of performance tests on the cloud. So like Snowflake is absolutely one of the things that they are, that the feature of Snowflake is spinning up as many computes against the storage. So that gets you the performance. Well, again, how cost effective, what is it exactly you're running? Again, and also what I would want to think about is, I think is not the right way of applying. I think if you just whatever infrastructure or whatever data footprint or application running, if you just move it from your data center to the cloud, you're kind of missing an opportunity. So there is a lot of re-engineering and refactoring of the applications state or architecture to take full advantage of the cloud.
Gotcha. So in addition to the cloud, what are the other big changes that you see happening in data management in the next 3 to 5 years? Like, are there patterns that you're seeing and or tech that you like, or things that you think are going to be important and useful?
The tech that I would like to see more of, and we're at the beginning of this, I think, with catalogs, but as I said, I think with the catalogs, we still don't know. It's very cool technology. I still don't know if we have an effective way of using it to really bring the value. But the tech I would really like to see. So the hardest part in building a data environment is not bringing data in. It's integrating data and finding common keys. If you
common
have,
keys, yeah.
Yes, if you have one data set, you can run all kinds of analytics on it, and it's fine. But if you have two data sets that you want to relate to each other, you need to find your common key. And they're not going to be standardized the same way. They're going to have different code values. They're going to have different identifiers. And that's where a lot of work from my team, or from anybody really, all the analytics team, I think are spending a lot of time figuring out common keys. So a lot of data prep business and Alteryx, Paxata, others is all about finding data common keys without having to do ETL and doing it programmatically. And doing it on the fly. And of course, doing it on the fly, you have problems because you do it one way and then somebody else comes against the same data set and does it differently. And you get, get different numbers on the same set of data. So where I would really like to see more growth and more development, and where I think the machine learning really comes in, or artificial intelligence, those different things, but to find common keys easier, to identify. So the data integration remains the most difficult problem, other than culture problem that I spoke about, technical problem that you have. Now you can actually, and that's what we've tried in City, try to solve for data integration problem culturally, meaning institute common keys and enforce having standardized common keys, standardized valid values, and do it all the way from the data ingestions all the way through. That's a huge culture change. I think it's actually going to be easier to do it with the tools and the backend. With the culture, especially in the large companies. Now, maybe in the smaller companies, especially with the new ones, they can start that way from the beginning. That might be better. However, I've been told by people who are in those types of companies that they're in such a hurry that discipline doesn't exist to begin with, because you have to spend more time doing it. And they don't have any time because they're racing to get the next level of funding. So,
and God forbid you go out and you buy another company, and then you've got like
then you have the same problem all over again. So I think tech might help it a lot more, and that's where I would like to see development, is the data integration common keys problem.
The common keys problem. It's near and dear to our hearts at Tamer, where we try and get people to use the machine aggressively with some human expertise.